Hey YouTube, it's Mike Penn Gangster here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about pressure tactics because I've noticed a lot of people misunderstand how pressure tactics work in this game. Some people assume that people are using constant pressure from the get-go. It doesn't work like that. That's not exactly what they're using. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm actually going to show you the best formation with the custom tactics to actually have a high line pressing tactic towards your opponents from the start if you would want to, but I would suggest not using these type of tactics from the get-go. Okay, a lot of pressure tactics with high pressing and high depth uh, is usually used in certain moments of the game, and also particular versus opponents. For example, if you're playing with against somebody that is very good, he knows how to work around it. If you're playing versus somebody that's a weaker opponent and you could see that he's struggling in the back, these tactics are going to work very well versus that person because already you can see that the opponent himself is struggling to get out of the box. So once you put more pressure to him, yeah, he's going to have a hell of a hard time. So for people that want to see exactly how those work, I'm going to show you the tactics of it, and I'm going to show you the best formation for it. Now, for people that wonder, like, is this just somebody talking out of his ass and stuff like that? No, guys, I'm already in Division One, as you can see. Um, I played a lot of games this year, and for Jam so far, I'm 2-0, whatever. Like, for people that have been following my channel, know that I've been like a Division One elite player since the beginning. So it's not like I'm just inventing tactics here. I'm actually going to show you, real good tactics of not constant pressure, but pressure tactics that people use. Now, when I go into a game, I don't use pressure tactics. I always go into my 4-2-3-1, but I do have high depth. Now, why do I have high depth? It's because if you have low depth on certain formations, they don't work very well. It's better to have higher depth, especially when you have good defenders. Okay, so for example, um, that's another thing. Having a good backline, right? So my backline is good enough for me to be able to have 60 depth. Now, believe it or not, when you're using like a high pressing tactic, you're also using about 60 depth. And the best formation for it, I mean, some people may say it's different ones. Me personally, I really believe that the 4-4-2 is by far the best formation when it comes to like pressuring your opponent. It covers the whole pitch. Your strikers are covering the center backs. The left and right mid are covering the left back and right back. Your center mids are covering his center mids. Like everybody's pushed up the line correctly. I just feel that the 4-4-2 is the best um, pressure tactic formation in the game. Now, automatically, when you're using a pressure tactic, there's two things you could do. Either pressure on heavy touch, which I prefer, or pressure on possession loss. Okay. Now, personally, this is way more riskier than pressure on every touch. Now, if you're really good at the game, okay, and you're just very good at pressuring people, pressure after possession loss is the best one to go, okay? Because every time you're gonna lose that ball, that second that the next few seconds that your opponent is gonna get the ball, and you could see that he's struggling to get the ball out of his own hand. This will just win you balls, okay? Now, pressure on every touch. The reason why I like this is because in this particular game, um, players just take every touches constantly. So you're always pressuring your opponent using this. Remember, guys, this is very different than when you're playing a game and you're towards the end of a game and you need constant pressure because you're one goal behind. This is not the same thing here. This is just having a higher depth and putting pressure on your opponent. Um, like it's not constant pressure here. This is just having a high depth pressure tactic. Okay, this is what a lot of people get confused with. They think people are on constant pressure from the start. Oh, these guys are marking all my players. No, it's just basically pressure on every touch with high depth. So the width, because 4-4-2 is already wide, I rather go with smaller width and 60 depth. Now again, 60 depth is the minimum requirement for basically eye pressing. Okay, anything lower than 60, It just doesn't work well. Okay, I honestly suggest even going 70 here. Okay, again, it all depends on your team and how confident you are of pressuring your opponent. If you feel that you have no clue how to pressure your opponent, because you do have to manually uh, pick your spots where you're gonna pressure your opponent. You got to use your second man press. Remember, when you're pressuring your opponent, second man press is your friend. You got to use it. It's very very overpowered. People that still don't use it and don't understand how overpowered second man press is. I honestly don't know what you guys are have been playing, because second man press is insane in this game if you know how to use it correctly. Okay, so these are the pressure tactics that people use with the 4-4-2. Again, pressure on possession loss if you feel very, very confident in your skill, or if not, pressure on every touch. 60 to 70 depth, depending again how comfortable you feel. Here, I honestly don't believe you should be over 50. I always put it at 45 for some reason. It just works good for me, but you could mix around it, play around with it, like between 40 and 50. Built up play. This is very important. Keep this on balance, because once you put like fast built up and stuff like that, all your players basically move out of position, and you get caught up way too easily. So having this on balance is very important. Also, you got to remember, this is not because you're playing because you need to score a goal. This is just a pressure tactic that you're using to basically put pressure on your opponent, right? So if, for example, you're behind by a goal, then you're gonna switch to constant pressure. You're gonna go to like 70 depth, and you're gonna go fast built up here, right? Because now you need a goal, and there's only 10, 15 minutes left. But this is not that. This is just having a pressure formation to basically pressure your opponent. Okay, so you have balance here. I like to use 4 runs for pressure tactics. So as I get the ball, right away my forwards that are up there, they start taking those runs behind the opponent's back line, right? Now the 4-4-2, it's already wide, it's already really balanced, so I like to keep it at 50. I don't feel like there's no need of like either lowering it or hiring it. I think 50 is just perfect for how the formation works. Players in the box, anything under 6 does not work very well. I even suggest going with 7. It's either 6 or 7. I don't feel like you should go higher than that though, and I don't think you should go lower. Now the reason why you're doing 6 or 7 is because, for example, you have your 2 strikers and you have your 4 midfielders, right? Your left mid, right mid, and your 2 center mid. So 6, it will be the requirement minimum to use as a pressure tactic. For example, you need all these guys to be up there. So when you lose the ball, you're already in your opponent's face. Okay, that's very important. Corners and free kicks in this game, they're just broken when it comes to like getting countered. Just keep these at 1 if you don't want to get countered, or whatever. You could have it at 2 as long as you do the short cross tactic, you know. Anyways, let's get into the instructions. Okay, instructions are actually very, very simple. Both my strikers are only on stay central. Now, the reason why they're not on getting behind is because I have the forward runs. So automatically, with the forward runs, these 2 players, based on their character of their card, they're gonna make those runs by themselves. Okay. Of course, the better the card, the better the AI intelligence, right? On the left mid and the right mid, believe it or not, even when you're using like pressure tactics, having come back on defense on these 2, on the left back and I'm sorry, on the left mid and the right mid is important in this type of formation, because it actually helps you in the back when, for example, your opponent is in your end zone and you still need to basically defend, right? So it's as you can see, these are pressure tactics, but you still need your defenders to help you in the game, right? So you could go balance over here, you know, but I like to have come back on defense. I just feel like it works for whenever I get the ball in my pitch to go back up. Again, balance is very good also, and I have getting behind. The reason why I have getting behind on my left mid and right mid and not on my strikers is because since they sit back further because they're come back on defense, having this is like an extra forward run, like basically tactic of like telling my guys go 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 go, you know. For the center mids, I keep these guys on balance, man. Like the only thing I have is cover center. Now here it really depends of like the type of characters players you have. For example, work rates. A lot of people wonder how work rates work. Okay, work rates. For example, Verratti is medium high because he's more defensively, right? So having a guy that's like Fofana that's more like high high, like so he's got that attacking mentality is good. And then having somebody that has a bit of a more of a defensive mentality is good, right? You want to kind of like balance yourself out here. Now you could have high high and high high, still works very well. Again, a lot of it depends on how confident you feel with your pressure tactics of yourself, like pressuring somebody, you know? So, anyways, I like to keep these guys on balance. I like them to do what they do themselves, like the cards themselves, you know? For the left back, right mid, left back, right back, I've never really seen any point of not putting these guys on on stay back while attacking. I mean, it's just very important to have these guys on stay back while attacking if you don't want to get constantly countered. Now, again, if you're 10 minutes left in a game and you really need a goal, go in your D-pad and put them on join the attack. But in custom tactics, having these guys on stay back while attacking is I feel like it's one of the most important things to have. Again, I don't switch. I don't use anything on my center backs or my goalie here. I mean, you could try different things here for your goalie, for example, like putting like come out for crosses and stuff like that. But I do it myself. That so. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Try it out. By the way, guys, understand that if you start off right off the start with these tactics, it's probably not the best idea. I would suggest going into your game with your current formation that you like. If you feel like I said, like um, your opponent is a little bit like weak in the back, automatically by putting these type of tactics, it's gonna really like choke them. Also, if you see somebody, for example, that is using pressure tactics against you, you could go pressure versus pressure. It works very well. At the end of the day, when you go fire with fire, the best player wins. Like whoever is better at it will just eventually win the game. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.